Thursday, April 16th, to order. I'd like to ask Commissioner Watson to lead us in the invocation and Commissioner Cook to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would everyone please stand?
If you'll bow your heads with me. Father, we come before you today, and it is so easy to thank you for all the many blessings. But we thank you most for the grace of your Son, Jesus, who came and died for us. We thank you for the Easter we just celebrated. We ask that you be with our team members as they're out throughout the community and keep them safe and watch over them. Thank you for the team members here being recognized and the families they represent. Be with us as we go through the day and help us to make wise decisions. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have any public comment. We need to excuse Commissioner Edgy. He's got delayed because of his flight arrangements coming back. So can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to excuse Commissioner Edgy from today's session.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Let's see. First thing, we had Facilities Committee meeting yesterday, and we also had a finance meeting. On the facilities meeting, we discussed some of our standards that we're going to revise a little bit. We had contract award for SCADA system and electrical rehab. We renewed a ERISA 3-year license, and we had some infrastructure dedications and conveyance of easements. For water production, unaccounted for the mainland is 7.1%, and for the island is 6.9%, which is very good. So that's very good for any utility system. The Academy Creek is operating at 44% of its capacity during last month, Dunbar at 68%, and Southport at 37%. We then had some nice photos provided by Mr. Klein, along with a description of projects under construction. We got 2 big tanks coming up, so if you're leaving the county going south or north, you'll see it every time you go. And just we thank the citizens of Glynn County because they're paying for it through their rates and everything else. We also had a finance meeting, and I would like to ask Commissioner Cook to give us a report on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. During the meeting yesterday, we went ahead and recommended that we engage the auditors for the 3rd year of their contract for the fiscal year 2026 audit. Also, we did the organizational budget, and we recommended approval of that to be forwarded to the city, the county, and eventually to be adopted. We also did the contract award for the SCADA, the water SCADA and electrical rehab on Phase 1 services. We also recommended approval for the USGS joint funding agreement, which is an annual thing that is required because of the plume that's there. It actually is a little bit lower this year, so we're grateful for that. We recommended approval for the 3-year license for the ESRI license, which is the GIS, which we'll be using today, and also for the renewal for the CityWorks fiscal year 2027, the software system that runs a lot of our work. It does all of our work orders and keeps track of things. That actually was a little bit lower renewal rate than normal. Also, we went through the financial statements, and everything looks very much in order. Our revenues are up. It's a combination of new customers and, of course, the weather being kind of dry. People are using a bit more water, so please keep it up. We appreciate it. And everything else was very much in order, and I want to thank Mr. Owens for the report that his staff put together for us. It's very comprehensive and very useful for us. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next item is staff recognition. We got 2 people we're going to recognize. If I can Get over there with all these wires.
Yeah, careful of the wires.
Derek Simmons. Congratulations. He's a waterman, by the way, but he's got a water operator class too. Okay. State of Georgia Board of Examiners for certification of water and wastewater treatment plant operators and laboratory analysts certifies that Cecil Derek Simmons, having given satisfactory evidence for the necessary qualifications as required by the laws of the state of Georgia, has been duly certified as a water operator class 2 in the state of Georgia. Signed, Margaret Doss, Chairman, 16th day of April 2026. Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
I'm going to say a little bit about Derek. He's been with us a long time. He started as equipment operator, City of Brunswick, in 2004. So this is 2026, so that's 24 years, is that right? So he knows where, he's 22. So he knows where every line is, right?
We're learning some of them still. We're finding stuff every day almost.
So we don't need to do metal detectors, do we?
Yeah, I gotta find where the county and cities paved over them for.
And so how many galvanized lines have we still got to replace?
I know about 6 right now I could replace.
And then we'd be complete?
Probably not. I know about where 6 of that we need to replace, but
Okay.
I don't think that'll quite finish it up.
Yeah. Well, the system's improving, isn't it?
It's improving. We're getting less leak calls on the old gallery. Yeah, so that's helping.
He's director of water, and so he's one of the people who grades our system each year before we have our retreat. So we like to give them, lift them up so they'll give us good grades. Because when we first got here, we were getting Ds, right? And now we're getting Cs and Bs, and some people giving As.
It's getting better. It is getting better.
Well, it's because of people like you. And I appreciate everything you do for us. You've got a good staff, and the fact that you have so much knowledge is real helpful to us. So congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Anything you want to say some words about Derek?
Yeah, I mean, Derek, I gave him a challenge when he got combined with water production and water distribution to go get his Class 2 within 6 months, and he was able to do that. The Class 2 is not something we do a lot of here. It's more about the size than anything because the bulk of the test is about surface water treatment. So he had to learn a whole bunch of stuff that he doesn't have to deal with and then get reacquainted with lab practices. So it just goes to show that even after you've been here 20 years and know almost everything about certain aspects of your job, there's always more to learn. Glad Derek jumped on it, got it taken care of, and he can continue to lead us into the future.
You know, one other thing, how many years have we gotten an award from BGJWSC? It's a gold award now.
It's platinum now. It's with 5 or 6 years now.
I think we had 3rd platinum.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd platinum. No, sir.
And I'll see Derek at the Georgia Rural Water, and he'll have his whole staff there.
Pretty much, yes, sir.
And everything else. Appreciate everything you
Yes,
do.
sir. Thank you.
Congratulations.
He didn't get a good photo, Chairman. You gotta get a good photo. He wants you to get.
Got to get out front.
Get out in front there. Yeah,
I
there
was
you
trying to
go.
avoid that. Oh.
Get away from that coffee cup for a minute.
Yeah, that'll block me out. Well, there you go.
Jimmy
We're in the right spot.
What name to choose?
I understood.
Shoe fits.
Just present.
Next one is Brandon Dixon. Wastewater collection system operator license. Brandon started us in May of 2024. He's currently a member of the utility construction crew His job is to repair or replace old services, lay new lines, and repair and replace manhole covers. What do you like best about your work?
I like all of that. Can't complain about it. Keep you busy.
Keeps you busy.
What have you learned?
I've learned the right way to run lines, how to put them together the proper way, the angle to run them at, when you need to put something in,
Yeah.
and what not to do.
You want to say something about it?
Brandon's one of our newer team members here at Joint Water and Sewer, but he fits in real well. Gets along with everybody. He's a hard worker, shows up every day. He just one of the workers that you can count on to come in for overtime and whatnot. If he's needed in other departments, he's helped out with the wastewater treatment facility, and it's a joy to have him here. It really is.
We want to encourage you to continue to learn. This is a great accomplishment. We appreciate everything you've done. You want to say something, Kurt?
Yeah, he's obviously a fast learner. You had really hardly any experience before you came here in this industry. So it's drinking from the fire hose right now. But he's doing a lot of good stuff, and I've yet to see him not with a smile on his face, so it's nice that, as Eric said, that he shows up, and that's something special for our people working in wastewater. It's not everybody that wants to be in that industry, and they keep showing up and continue to do the job, and then extend themselves to get the license. So that says a lot for his motivation. We appreciate that.
Yes, it does.
I mean, first time I took it, I made a 60, and I didn't study.
You studied the next time?
A little bit. A little more.
That's good. That's quite an accomplishment. We appreciate. We want you to keep learning.
Yes, sir.
Learn something every day. And then there's more certificates you can get to. And I think we're going to try to cross-train these people into water and wastewater. So, but the good thing about our industry, you'll always have a job if you do your work.
That's true.
It's true. Because the people really need us, keeping the water and sewer systems going. It's a very vital thing to the community. I just want to appreciate you working with us.
Yes, sir.
I really appreciate you getting this certificate. Let me read you this. State of Georgia Board of Examiners for Certification of Water and Wastewater Treatment Plant Operators and Laboratory Analysts certifies that Brandon LaShawn Dixon, having given satisfactory evidence of the qualifications as required by the laws of the state of Georgia, has been duly certified as a wastewater collection system operator in the state of Georgia. Signed, Margaret Doss, the 16th day of April 2026. Congratulations again.
How you doing?
Brian, how are you? Good.
All right. Get them closer together. There we go.
We allow our first-time recipients to give a 5-minute speech.
We don't tell you in advance, so you have to come up with it.
Now they
Yeah.
tell him.
That's the fun part of our meeting. Now we got to get to work. We'll move to the approval section, minutes from the March 19th, 2026 meeting. Can I have a motion to accept?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes as presented for the March 19th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Minutes from the March 19th, 2026 executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that the minutes from the March 19th, 2026 executive session be approved as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Next item is engagement of auditors for fiscal year 2026 audit. Mr. Burris.
I'm going to turn this one over to Mr. Owens.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Let's see, back in fiscal year 2024, the Joint Water and Sewer Commission issued a request for proposal for auditing services, and as a result of that RFP, the firm Malden and Jenkins was selected to be our auditors for an initial audit year ending June 30th, 2024, with 2 optional renewals for June 30th, 2025 and 2026. It's common practice that as we begin the final quarter of the fiscal year that we notify the auditors of our intent to exercise the options on that contract and basically begin scheduling our audit for the year. At this time, this is the 3rd and final year of the current contract. The base fees would be $25,900. Additional fees for the single audit, if necessary, range depending on the amount of work involved there. But at this time, the staff is asking the board to approve engaging the accounting firm of Malden and Jenkins to perform our financial audit for the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026, at a cost of $25,900.
Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve engaging the accounting firm of Malden and Jenkins to perform the financial audit of the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026, at a cost of $25,900.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or
I have a question,
comments?
Mr. Owens. Would it be fair to say that with technology, there's with the actual audit time where the auditors are in the building is reduced from past?
It's very minimal. In fact, I think they only visit us to do inventory counts and to talk with our HR provider, which is Teamwork Services down the street. They do some audit of the pension and employee records there. But everything else, we have an online portal with which we can upload information and respond to audit requests.
Because I know in years past, it was like on-site, all, packed in a room somewhere.
Right. You
Yeah.
usually find the smallest, hottest room you can.
Exactly.
Cram the auditors in there.
Close the air conditioning vents.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is fiscal year 2027 organization budget. Mr. Burris.
Yes, sir. So we went through this yesterday in the Finance Committee, so I'll do a little bit more of an abbreviated version today, but if there's any questions, we'll be happy to go through that. So per request of the Finance Committee yesterday, I have provided a copy of the PowerPoint slides for you to follow along. So our goals heading into the budget year is we want to always try to maintain affordability, and this is becoming increasingly challenging because costs for materials continue to rise, far exceeding what you may expect to see in normal inflationary practices. The way we're going to try to do that is 2 things. We want to be more efficient about how we operate, and we also want to increase the reliability of our assets so that we're not having to have unexpected repair costs pop up throughout the year. So our highlights for the year. We are not requesting a rate adjustment at this time. However, the budget is scheduled to increase if approved today. We'll go through that in a minute. We are trying to increase our repair and replacement reserve funding for customers. When you hear we're funding reserves at a higher rate, that may be a little bit questionable, but that is where we do projects from. So those are not reserves we're sitting on doing nothing with. That is how we do capital projects. And then if you look at the individual line items, we combined a few of the line items in a bunch of the departments that were minor supply type line items that were broken out into entirely too many different categories. So we lumped those together. So if you try to compare to last year's budget on some of those items, it looks like it's all out of whack. That's because they all got combined together. So top line budget, our budget request for next year is $42.52 million. That is a 6.75% budgeted increase. Again, that increase does not include any changes to the additional usage rates for regular customers. So budgeted revenues, about 40% comes from sewer revenues. That includes both sewer usage rates and the industrial surcharge rates for industrial customers that provide more than 200 parts per million of BOD and TSS to our wastewater facilities. About 22% comes from water revenues, 12% from REU fees, 18% from admin fees, and then the balance comes from other sources throughout the year, including planning and construction, showing up with a strong 0.09% of our budget this year. On the revenue side, I mentioned that we are increasing the budget by almost 7%, but that is due mostly to two things. Customer growth continues to remain strong. I'll show that here momentarily. And also our revenue are showing existing usage patterns being higher. Obviously, some of that has to do with the ongoing dry conditions, but this has been ongoing now for more than just the drought-type conditions that we're experiencing now. So people are using more water on a per-account basis, and because of that, revenues continue to be strong. We did, if you compare this year's actuals to what is budgeted, you'll see that our interest income on our reserve accounts has not been increased, even though we're far exceeding interest at this point due to widespread market uncertainties projected over the next 12 months. So customer growth over for a 5-year period, so the 4 completed years, we're up 9% on total customers for water and sewer. Projecting forward for next year, we've reduced that a little bit on the water side, but increased a little bit from this year on the sewer side. That is because of the ongoing projects in Arco, Brunswick, and recently completed projects in Brunswick Villa and Community Road. We expect there to be the more sewer customers comparatively than water customers over the next year join our list. But so these numbers are not in any way out of the norm for what we're projecting forward for customer growth. The chart shows us in comparison to similar location and size utilities in our area. Our average residential customer, uses 4,200 gallons of water per month. If you're a water and sewer combined customer here at JWSC, that is $64.33. Across the comparable utilities, that would average about $71.74. So we're still slightly below the average there, which is good to see and shows that we're doing the very best we can to maintain affordability across our area. This chart has a lot of information on the bottom that you can go through, but this is a 5-year snapshot and then next year's budget, showing consistent growth across all of our revenue categories due to the account growth that we've seen in our area. A lot of that, of course, is ongoing out in the North Mainland District off of Highway 99 in that area is where a lot of those new customers are coming, but also seeing additional growth at Exit 29 as well compared to previous years. So expenses for the year, as a sort of a general rule of thumb, if you want to know where each dollar goes when you pay your bill, about 1/3 of it goes to personnel, about 1/3 of it goes to projects, and the other 1/3 goes to our other operating expenses that we have. Personnel is not quite a full third, but in general, that's a pretty good gauge. About 35% goes to operating expenses, about 1/3 goes to project expenses, and then of course that 31% goes to personnel. But this year, project reserves are budgeted at 25%. That's not new debt. That's money that we're pay as you go on projects, and so 1/4 of all monthly revenues go for capital projects. Staff and expense highlights: we're reducing FTE by one staff count by 1 FTE due to the combination of water and sewer over the last year. So that has reduced the staff count by 1. Included in the budget is a 2.41% cost of living adjustments for all employees on July 1st, and then the ability to get potential merit raises above that on their anniversary date. That is based off of their annual appraisal, and then if they get a 4 out of 5, they would get an additional 1.3% at that time, and if they got a 5 out of 5, they would get an additional 1.29% at that time. So maximum possible increase in wage is 5%. 2.41 for everybody on July 1st, and then based on appraisals thereafter on the anniversary date. That 2.41% is based off the most recently released CPIU for inflationary practices. Budgeted operating expenses. So operating expenses do not include debt service or project transfers, so this is the other portion of the budget. Wastewater accounts for almost 50% of the budget. Water accounts for about 16%. So the two operationals are somewhere around 2/3 of the budget. And then the admin makes up about a third. The biggest chunk of admin is made up by finance, which seems counterintuitive, but that is where we charge employee health insurance to. So that is why finance is such a large percentage of that slice of the pie. Admin services is just shy of 7%, and we have made a change in the way we're budgeting software this year, so all of our software costs are being charged there into the next fiscal year. So again, those two groups take on a lot of expenses that aren't necessarily directly their expenses, but they're used by everyone. Planning and construction, about 6%, purchasing about 4%, and office of the director about 3%, and governing body, y'all are knocking it out at about 1.7% of the budget this year, which is actually quite an increase from where you've been in recent years. So congratulations. So where are we seeing the largest increases at? The three largest items, if you summarize all of them, R&R reserve. Again, that's project budgets going up almost $450,000 on the transfer amount. Electricity going up $360,150. That's due, we expect a rate increase due to fuel costs going up as a result of the ongoing global conflicts. And group insurance, our group insurance claims are up significantly. We think there is a delay in the way we're getting our stop loss reimbursements back, but as of right now, we're projecting about a $320,000 increase in group insurance going into next year. That's not, that's solely health insurance claims. The actual admin costs don't go up that much. This is all claims driven. Decreases into next year's budget. We are not making any fleet purchases this year. All of the equipment that we are purchasing is actual process equipment or lab analyst equipment, and one IT equipment for planning and construction. We have to buy a large plotter scanner device for the plans that are created and accepted here. But we're not doing that because one of our goals is to create a fleet master plan so we get a better handle on managing our fleet moving forward. So Ms. Crosby's team is working on that. Property insurance, so insurance in general, property insurance, liability insurance. When Mr. McGinty was here last month, he notified us that we were seeing a reduction in that. So that's budgeted a decrease of almost $150,000. And then workers' comp is down almost $113,000 for our renewal in December when Mr. Bridges was here. And we are continuing to have a solid safety year this year. So we're hopeful that when we get, there's not projected into the budget, but we're hopeful that we get an additional reduction come December of 2026. We do have a lot more information in your packet. There's also the individual line item budgets, and I'll be happy to go through as little or as much of that as you would like. That is the end of the presentation.
Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission take the following actions in approving submission of the proposed fiscal year 2027 JWSC budget to the City of Brunswick and to the Glynn County for their review and comment, along with item 2, approving the fiscal year 2027 JWSC budget in the amount of $42,524,000, subject to revisions resulting from comments received from the City of Brunswick and/or Glynn County.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Burrows, could you just talk for a minute about the importance of SPLOST to our organization? Because I know it's pretty significant, the two projects.
Absolutely. The current SPLOST receipts that we're getting come in around $300,000, $350,000 a month, and that, getting an additional $3.5 to $4 million a year in project funds is enabling us not to have that included in our annual budget. So you're talking about a 10% increase in the budget coming from SPLOST each year. That's a substantial amount when you think about people's monthly water and sewer bills. So that has enabled us. We talk about this being a $42 million budget, and it is, but we're also doing about $20 million a year in capital projects on top of that. And, a quarter of that is currently being funded by SPLOST. So that is a huge way in which we can help maintain affordability on our monthly rates.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Any other questions or comments?
That's the only motion I'm doing today.
Okay.
Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Andrew. Next item is fiscal 2027 capital projects plan. Mr. Burrows?
Yes, sir. Typically, when coinciding with the budget, we like to produce our capital projects plan for the next year, and that does two things for us. One, it enables us to work with providers on what projects they might be interested in, and also allows us internally to schedule out how we would like to go about procuring these so that we don't get them all together at one time and we can space them out throughout the year. So our capital projects plan, and we'll be happy to show you on GIS any of this information. This is the proposed project list for next year. It's a total of $11,085,000 in new project spending, but that does not include ongoing projects. So 4002 is the basin that serves the bulk of downtown Brunswick, including all of the government offices in downtown. We talked about a couple of months ago about having to de-scope some lines from that project, and this is the money to replace those lines that are not able to be trenchlessly rehabbed. That's $1.75 million. Electrical panel replacements, we have 3 electrical panels that need replacement, including demoing and temporary solutions while they're replacing, and then also doing the terminations and programming necessary for the new panels. At Academy Creek, those are the bar screen, belt press, and dryer. A bar screen, a belt press, and a dryer are not typically areas where you have the best conditions for electrical equipment, and so we're going to go with a slightly more hardened panel setup in those, and so that's $475,000. And unique item for us that we're glad we don't have to do that often, but we're taking some money and setting aside for our ERP replacement project. That is the financial and customer service software, including the customer portal that will be utilized for people to pay their bill, potentially check on account statuses and usages and things like that. The budget for the implementation and portion of that is $565,000. Pump replacements on the lift stations, we talk about asset management fairly frequently, and one of the things that we have done an extensive amount of work is identifying the age of all of our existing assets. And so we're taking money, setting it aside to replace all of our lift station pumps that are currently past the recommended useful life. So that's $1.35 million worth of pumps, and those will be installed in-house. Likely, if this is pushed forward and approved by the budget, by the commission next year, you'll see us coming in with a lot of individual pump purchases at different meetings as we go through this, because that's several pumps. 2 large CIPP projects. 4013 basin is Fairway Oaks. That's out there off of Altama right before you get to Fletsy. Fairway Oaks, we've got about 19,000 feet of gravity main that needs lining in that basin. That is all 8-inch vitrified clay pipe. So should be an actually fairly straightforward lining project. Clay actually lines really well, and it's a really good technology for that. So we'll be getting about $1.35 million worth of lining in that area. And 4001, just south of the 4002 basin, down by King and Prince and the Mayor's Point area, about 10,000 feet of gravity main needs lining in that basin. In a minute, we're going to talk about an electrical contract for St. Simon's well improvements. This is a similar project for electrical system replacements at 3 of our mainland well facilities. These were identified in the most recent master plan update. It's the I-95 well, which is on Glendale Circle, Howard Coffin Park well, which is at Howard Coffin Park, and then the Fletsy facility, which is at Fletsy. I suspect I-95 and Howard Coffin will be done before Fletsy just because of access. But that's a $1.85 million project. And then 4 expansion projects. Trade winds, force mains, we have an existing agreement with the Trade winds facility to provide point of connection locations to them for the necessary water and sewer flows. Water is of no concern, but we need to extend 2 force mains to their property line, enable them to tie on. One of those will be to go up Golden Isles Parkway from the public safety complex to their proposed entrance off of Golden Isles Parkway, and we'll also be extending one from the rest area off of I-95. There's an existing gravity basin there to the northeast side of their property, and then their 3rd connection point is already available off of Highway 99. That's a $350,000 project. Whitlock area water main extensions, and these you may want me to pull up. Whitlock is, that's in West Point. Sorry, Todd, we'll have to get back to yours. The Whitlock area, we're currently in-house designing a water and sewer extension project that this will connect to. The Whitlock area is south of Community Road and runs from Community Road to Townsend. We're in the process of designing improvements to provide water and sewer to this portion of the Whitlock area. But what we'd like to do is tie on to the connection point that is going to be available here on Lakewood Avenue and run a water main down to Townsend by the Brunswick-Glynn well. This will involve railroad permitting, but this will enable us to become even less dependent on the Brunswick-Glynn well, which is our oldest well in the system and the one that is most impacted by saltwater intrusion. So that is a $1.2 million project. That will be a large line. There's a lot of pipe involved there, and the railroad permitting makes it more expensive. Similarly, just to the north of that, Cypress Mill to Community along Old Jessup. Those are obviously major thoroughfares in Glynn County, but you can see here on Old Jessup, the water main stops here at Habersham, and so we would like to bring a water main from Cypress Mill down to Community Road along Old Jessup, and potentially loop in here on B&W grade as well, and potentially all the way up to the other end of B&W grade as funds allow. So again, this was skipped for a reason, because you have a railroad in the way there. That's where I have to tight right of ways, but this will be a very impactful loop to our system to increase flows in those areas, and opens up a few more customers to the water system. And then at exit 29, we have, wrong button, a potential loop off of Bell Cutoff Road. Bell Cutoff Road runs behind the former Winn-Dixie facility that is being converted over, like the one on Lanier Plaza did. So it'll be connect this. You'll notice this whole commercial area and this apartment complex are fed by a single line that goes under Highway 17. Not an ideal scenario. So our goal here is to take a loop down Bell Cutoff and down Dusty Lane here, up Cedardale Road, and tie into Baumgardner, which will open up water access to these areas, but also loop this whole section and improve consistency and pressures and flows to that area. So again, that's a $500,000 project. That one should be mostly straightforward because it should be fairly open right away back there, and there's no railroads. So that one may get off the ground a lot quicker than some of the other extension projects. But again, total project funding is $11,085,000. That is based off of what is projected to be remaining at the end of this fiscal year. And these projects would, of course, be brought back to you for contract consideration at a later date. This is just simply approving the budgets moving forward for them to be funded on July 1st.
That's a good presentation. Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the fiscal year 2027 capital projects plan as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Yes, sir.
The next item is JWSC standards language revisions. Mr. Klein.
All right, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good afternoon. This item was a discussion item at the February commission meeting, and the board gave staff direction to make some clarifications in the joint water standards of construction as related to what's required to be publicly dedicated or can remain private, or what are the criteria for those statuses are. And I can go quickly through the edits one more time for everybody, which was discussed in depth at the Facilities Committee. And I do want to also point out that we did commit to the commission in reaching out to stakeholders in the community for feedback as well. And so there's also included a list of the frequent customers, I call them, frequent flyers, that we work with. That's engineers, contractors, builders, many folks that we consider stakeholders, and these changes could possibly affect. So responses were minimal, I'll say that, but that just tells us that the proposed changes are acceptable. We hope. So anyhow, I'll walk through the changes here very quickly, and please do stop me if there's any questions on any of these things. Again, I like to call them clarifications more than changes, or actually true revisions to the nature of the spirit of the standards. It is more to come into consistency with the Glynn County and City of Brunswick ordinance definitions for customers, et cetera. So one of the main things the board wanted us to try to eliminate was the situation where we've seen where there may be public water collection system in, say, a development. That's not ideal. I don't think certainly in our viewpoint, or for the customer's viewpoint that may have to maintain that infrastructure going forward. Makes good sense for it all to be public when it meets certain criteria. But that is the main point of the change here. We do address, there's section 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the standards. Just minor comments in each one. Again, this next one here in the water section is just clarifying the point of ownership from public to private, and that's essentially the water meter at the property line. Similarly to the water meter in the wastewater collection system, the point of demarcation from public to private is generally for gravity collection systems is the lower clean out at the property line. And if it's a pressure system like a grinder station connection, it is a ball check valve assembly there at the right-of-way line. Pump stations, we clarified the criteria for public dedication. Essentially, a station that's very small and only serves a very limited number of customers is not desirable for the board to take ownership of, and the staff would recommend in those cases in a review that station remains privately owned. Again, being congruent with the definitions in the Glynn County and City of Brunswick ordinances there. And a couple more here. That's the 4.7.1. That's the flow rate criteria. And then let's see here, just a little bit inconsistent language removed out of that one, and then a good one here at the very end. Mr. Burrows did add in here. This clarifies that only individual residential, single property commercial, or stations below the minimum threshold of 22 gallons a minute can be kept private, and it removes the option for stations that should be dedicated as public to remain private. So this will tremendously help staff in the review of plans and also in the closing out of projects, and then also for help the operations staff as well in their mission to maintain these going forward. So if there's any particular questions, I'm certainly happy to try to answer those questions.
Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve these revisions of the Joint Water and Sewer Standards for water and wastewater system design and construction to supersede all previous versions of those standards.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
This is only for new construction?
Commissioner Cook, thank you for asking. Correct. So this would affect new submittals, new project review submittals. So anything that's currently in motion would still fall under the prior criteria as when it was submitted, but correct. Going forward, this would affect all new submittals.
And are there any private systems that maybe we would want to take over if as a result of this that are existing now?
We could certainly consider that, and there is the process in the standards for private dedication to public. So certainly there's some that may be beneficial for the commission to seek, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Next item is contract award, water skater and electrical rehab phase 1 services. Mr. Burrows.
Yes, sir. This was discussed by both the Facilities and Finance Committees yesterday. Currently, our SCADA system on the water side is actually 2 separate SCADA systems that will not communicate together, which means we have to operate 2 systems simultaneously, which is very challenging. We did this with the sewer system several years ago. We'd like to move forward with converting all of our water systems to VT SCADA assets instead of the existing DFS system. And then while we're doing that, since this is a very electrical-driven project, there were master plan identified replacements for electrical systems at the Mallory Airport and Harrington water production facilities on St. Simons Island. So we decided to combine these 2 together. This is being done via the progressive design build methodology, where we would get a 30% design complete, and they will bring back a guaranteed maximum price for completion of the project. It is at the board's discretion at that time should they wish to move forward with the project. So the cost for phase 1 services to get us to that 30% design is $250,000. And also, at this time, they would be locking in their proposed overhead and markups on Phase 2 services on the individual line items where they do labor and materials. And that would be 10% for overhead and 6% for the markup percentages. Their high-level cost before going and doing a lot of investigation is $3.5 million for this project. We suspect it'll come in much closer to our allocated funding of $2.6 million because they kind of just did a worst-case scenario estimate for all these sites. If we had one proposal received and was from EMC, who has done an extensive amount of SCADA work for us. EMC will be utilizing JAM Electric, which is a local electrical subcontractor, and Chatham Engineering for electrical design out of Savannah. So upon notice to proceed, EMC is committed to providing a GMP for Phase 2 services within 120 days, which likely puts us in the September-October timeframe before we have a GMP for this project. But staff would like to move forward with a contract award for Phase 1 services to EMC Electric Machine Control for $250,000.
Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission award a contract to Electric Machine Control, Inc. for Phase 1 services of the water production SCADA and electrical upgrades project in the amount of $250,000.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions?
I have a question. On a contract like this, when it comes to purchasing, not equipment, but materials, will we have opportunity to do that?
On this, what we do on a lot of these contracts in this situation, they assemble all of the SCADA panels off-site and then deliver them here.
Okay.
So because they will utilize their own panel building shop to do that,
All right.
that's likely not an opportunity on this one.
All right. Thank you.
We'll be going to the big city of Trussville, Alabama to witness factory acceptance testing on all these panels. So.
All right.
Does that coincide with any ball game?
We'll see if they can get them done by, around Thanksgiving.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 6-0. Item 8, USGS Joint Funding Agreement, Mr. Burrs.
Yes, sir. This is an annual agreement we enter into with the U.S. Geological Survey for groundwater monitoring for the migration of chlorides throughout the upper Floridan aquifer. This year's renewal is $84,450. It is budgeted in the Office of the Director's Technical Services budget, and this was discussed with the Finance Committee yesterday.
Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that the Brunswick Joint Water and Sewer Commission enter into a joint funding agreement with USGS in the amount of $84,450 for continuation of groundwater monitoring in the upper Floridan aquifer.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Andrew, can you put on the screen right quick, like show we were talking about the plume and all that stuff?
Yes, sir.
Because some of the commissioners might not.
And maybe we should consider having.
So there you go.
There we go.
So this is, it's known as the T-shaped plume. This is the most recent delineation of it, which is the actual from the 2024 data. They've collected the 2025 data. They're going through analysis now. So Brunswick Cellulose is the largest water user in Glynn County, and so a lot of the intrusion is in their area. There's also the Bay Street source and a large area near the Pinova facility. But remember these colors, we have some oranges and some yellows, but as you can see previously in 2020, there were some reds, and then these these images, the warmer the color, the worse the concentration is. So we're actually seeing a reduction in chlorides across the plume. The shape is shifting slightly, but with the reduction in groundwater withdrawal with the Pinova facility closing, and then also with Brunswick Cellulose continuing to be more efficient in their processes, we're seeing a reduction in saltwater intrusion at this time. So Dr. Cherry, who's been doing this research for many years, we're trying to get him scheduled to come down and speak with the facilities committee and do a more historical view of the plume, because we have a lot of good information to share.
As a matter of information, we're very blessed to have such an aquifer to get our water source. 3/4 of Georgia has to get it from streams, places like that, and the rest get it from this aquifer and some other smaller aquifers. And this aquifer actually goes all the way to South Florida. And they're having issues right now. So, anyway, thank you for the presentation, Andrew. We've got a motion and a second. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
We should get Dr. Cherry down, though.
Yeah, we
I'm
will.
sure it'd be fascinating, so,
We were hoping he was going to be here today, but his schedule did not allow.
okay. Can he be brief?
I don't think that's his strength, sir.
We'll keep that to facilities.
Yes, yes.
Item 9, ESRI 3-year license renewal, Mr. Burris.
Yes, sir. This is the software renewal from Esri for our GIS system software. We had our first one of these entered into in 2023, and it's based off the number of accounts or meters that you have. And so our 3-year cost is $112,800, which works to $37,600 annually. And this is included in the planning and construction annual budget, and this was presented to the Finance Committee yesterday for their review and a recommendation.
Have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move the Brunswick-Glynn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve this renewal of the Small Utility Enterprise Agreement and Environmental System Research Institute in the amount of $112,800.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions?
Mr. Burrows, what was the amount of revenue that this department was bringing in?
About
again?
40,000.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
thank you, yeah, all right, just checking, great, I appreciate it.
So those planning and development fees are paying for GIS. Not for anybody to use the GIS, but for us to have it.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 6-0. Item 10, fiscal year 2027 City Works ELA renewal, Mr. Burris.
Very similar to our last item, this is our annual renewal for our CityWorks program. CityWorks is an asset management and work order management system that we utilize for doling out work orders, keeping track of information on expenses by asset location, and also is where we do our inventory management through the storeroom function. The renewal this year is $52,271.75, which is a 2.4% increase over the previous fiscal year, which is the lowest increase we've had in the past 5 years. So
Usually 3, isn't it?
usually 3 to 5. So that's it's been better. 2.4 is a little bit better. The software is owned by Azteca Systems, and so we did discuss this with the Finance Committee yesterday as well.
Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the renewal of fiscal year 2027 City Works Enterprise License Agreement with Azteca Systems LLC in the amount of $52,271.75.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 6-0. Next item is infrastructure dedications and grant easements, Mr. Klein.
Right. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you again. This item is a pretty standard and typical infrastructure dedication and easement conveyance. The two projects resulting from private development here are Rosa Dorsey Tract on St. Simons Island, just off of George Lotson Road, and then also West Point Plantation Phase 3 and 4. West Point's an ongoing development out there. Actually, the next phases are under construction, nearing completion as we speak. But this is for Phase 3 and 4. So first one is Rosa Dorsey here. Small development nonetheless, brings us 4 new customers. A little over 200 linear feet of PVC water main, the force main, et cetera, involved with this project will remain private. The little bit of easement width included in there, 15 feet wide. West Point Plantation, 1,300 linear feet of new water main, just under 2,000 linear feet of gravity sewer, and a couple easements to accompany that access for that infrastructure there. You can see in the orange as it's proposed. I'm happy to answer any questions if the board has any.
Can I have a motion?
I'll move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission accept this infrastructure with associated easements as applicable.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Executive Director's update.
Yes, sir. So we have the annual Georgia Rural Water Association Conference coming up on Jekyll Island the first full week of May. We do have funds available to provide access to that for the commissioners. Should you would like to attend, just let me know. We'll be happy to share the agenda as well if you would have any that you'd like to attend. We can schedule you for the full conference or just a single day, whichever you prefer. And you get lunch out of the deal, so. We do have one major project out for advertisement right now. That is the pump station 3103, 41, and 4119 upgrade projects, including force mains. So we've got a pre-bid next Thursday on that project. So we'll be out and about on that. But we've got getting a lot of good interest in that project. It's about $10 million worth of work. So we expect to get a lot of good interest in that project. So that one will. Those proposals are due at the end of May, so that'll be for your consideration at the June meeting. But other than that, I want to say thank you for your support in the budget, and thank you to our budget team, Ms. LaDonna, Dave Owens, and Francis Wilson for getting us through another budget season. It's not a few days' worth of work, it's a few months' worth of work. So good job to the team on that.
Commissioners' discussion. Any commissioners have anything? I just want to say that the Georgia Rural Water Conference is a very nice conference to come to. It's not complicated, and it's just right across the bridge. So, and the best thing to do if you come is just to go through the exhibit hall and just see the equipment and the vendors. I mean, y'all gone to GMA and other conferences, but you don't have to talk to anybody. You can just walk through and just look at it. But it's amazing how many people are in this industry selling. And it's a very big industry, and the good thing about this is all of our, how many of our, we got
151.
employees, how many of those will be?
We'll have about 60 there.
And I know a lot of utilities that come to this, and I know a lot of them that come just to play golf. But I always go to the conferences, and they sit together as a group and they talk about things. Mike was there; he's probably going to be sitting with them too again this year. But it's a very good conference, and it's right in our backyard. So if you have time to come, I recommend you do that. I just want to commend. I mean, these certificates that our people are getting are just awesome. I mean, to be getting 2, 3, and 4 a month, I mean, it's really good because they have to study to get those. I talked to some of our other cities that we work with, and the guys take it 4 and 5 times and all this other kind of stuff. And it's hard, it's not easy. And especially for somebody who's just been to work for us, what, 4 months?
A few months, yes, sir.
And then to get a certificate that quick. That shows that they're ambitious, and also shows that our upper management is encouraging the people to do that. So we as a commission body needs to just continue to push that and encourage our staff to do the good job that they've been doing through the years. We do need to go to executive session. It's a property issue. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Chair, I make a motion that we adjourn to executive session for purposes of real estate.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Motion carries. We'll adjourn for executive session. Thank you.
Did you We're not telling.
Just like Las Vegas, huh? All right.
Can I have a motion to come out of executive session?
I'll make a motion that we come out of executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we're out of executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the property acquisition discussed in 7179 Highway 99 property agreement for our executive director to negotiate and chairman to negotiate and finalize an agreement on said property. Did I cover it?
That was good.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? If none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Is any other business? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Favor?